Hey guys, 707 here. Hey, so this is going to be now part 4 of pro- common problems. So, what we're going to start off with today is we're going to start talking about our Rams. Our Ram pickups, specifically, right? Because Ram made all kinds of different things, like minivans. And when I say minivans, I mean utility vans. But we're going to talk about the trucks. So, the one thing that I've noticed on these cars is pretty much anything that ends in 7. 4-7, 5-7, sometimes even to 3-7. Um, Anything that's not diesel, that's a gas engine, typically more of the 4-7, 5-7. Um, they usually start having a tapping noise in their engine before they hit 100,000 miles. But they're almost guaranteed by 100,000 miles. Why? It's just lousy jobs for the heads. The only way to fix it is to rip the whole freaking head apart and rebuild it. It's the only way to fix it. Now, my dad's has been doing it for a couple years, actually quite a few years, and it's still running. So I wouldn't be too worried. It's kind of a normal thing for Chrysler. Why? I don't know. Something else I haven't figured out. But I did notice that a lot of the Rams are more built for power. When I say power, I mean horsepower, and not so much the torque. Um, Typically, if you take a brand new Ram, like say Ram 1500, and a brand new Silverado 1500, and you go head to head with them, just the baseline, this Chevy will be able to pull more than the Ram itself. They don't have a whole lot of torque. They're a lot more power, so it's a lot easier for them to spin than it is to take off from a line, if that makes sense. But they also do have a lot of issues with their radios, more specifically like their 8-inch and 10-inch displays. Electrical, kind of, sort of. They're not as heavy on the electrical side, but they do still have their issues. And Rams are notorious for stupid recalls. And when I say stupid, I mean, for instance, here's a good example. So, through manufacturer, if I'm not mistaken, I believe the recall number should be W25. I think. It's not, I don't actually, now that I think about it, I'm not sure if that's right. Um, but the whole recall is about the emblem, the little tiny emblem that's on your airbag, on the steering wheel that you hold. If you get into a collision and that airbag blows, that emblem doesn't stay attached. Literally, it can become a spear to the freaking face. Bad manufacturing. But obviously, as in case you can tell, I can live with that compared to my Ford Ram. It's stupid stuff. Another good recall for them, which may be the W25 recall by dealer code, um, is to tighten the wiper arms. Now, did they tighten them? Yes, they did from manufacturer, but they're not tight enough. So what they tell you is to take a ratchet, socket, wrench, whatever you got, and just go from here to here. That's it. It's literally a 90-degree turn, and you're done. It is that easy to do the recall. That's literally how short they are from being right to spec. There's no number spec per se. It pretty much goes until it's snug, and then you give it a 90-degree turn, and it's right to where it should be. But then the last manufacturer I'd like to really bring up, and this is just because I've had a lot of experience with it, is Pontiac. Now, I've owned two personally. I've had a 98 Grand Am, and I've had a 2004 Grand Prix. Only one had this problem because it only had a certain engine in it. Now, the 3.8 liter, doesn't matter if it's the Ram Air or not. Typically, it's not the Ram Air. It's usually just the basic of the 3.8s. Could be the 3.6 as well. They have a lot of issues with coolant leaking. Now, the big common problem with these is the coolant elbows that are on the back of the engine. They are made of plastic. Why you'd put plastic on a 400 plus degree engine is beyond me, but whatever. So they put that on, and everything's good, but usually by 100,000 miles, they blow out. Now, you can go back to manufacturer. If you wanted to, you can get another aftermarket replacement, and you can get them plastic. You would be done. What I would recommend is they do have an aftermarket version that are metal elbows. Literally, they're like this big. They're not very big at all, but they serve a huge purpose. I would definitely upgrade to the metal ones. They last a lot longer, a lot more durable, and they actually expand with the engine, and not at two entirely different rates because one's made of plastic. That seems to be the biggest thing on those. And another good recommendation that I would like to put in there as a tech note, and this is just because I've done it. I had my 98 Pontiac that I didn't touch the transmission on. That thing had literally over 100,000 miles and ran beautifully. That thing was incredible. Ran like a dream. Long story short, I totaled it. But the 2004 Grand Prix that I did what the average person would do about 100,000 miles, is do a transmission service. Which, for me, I did what they call full service, which would be to replace the fluid and replace the transmission filter itself, which includes dropping the actual transpan itself. Now, is it bad to do? No. But if you're one of those people that don't know when it was done last and it's got over 40,000 miles, don't touch it. You want to know why? Because I ain't got that car no more. I sank about, give or take, about $2,000 into that car to get it up, running, roadworthy, and ready to go. Did the transmission flush on it, everything was good, and literally about 2 months later, the transmission died. I lost all of first gear. Only had first gear when it was really, really cold, like it sat for days before I could drive it. And the only time I got first gear to work after sitting it for days, it went right to the junkyard. So if your Pontiac has over 40,000 miles and you haven't religiously done it every 40,000 miles, don't touch it at all. You will end up in my shoes and you're going to be quite pissed when you have to go buy a new car. That's pretty much the best recommendation I can give you. But all in all, Pontiacs are very strong cars. They run really well. The power's really good on them. They handle pretty well in the winter, for the most part, honestly. As long as you have a good set of grippy tires on there, they work pretty well. They actually get through the snow pretty well. But again, those coolant elbows seem to be the biggest downfall for them. Again, along with the transmission flushes, just don't do them if you don't have to. If you're not feeling anything like a slipping, or like it's banging into gear or anything like that, don't touch the trans. Seriously, just let it run its course and let that fluid be in the car as long as you have that car. Because if you have to do a flush, expect the transmission out of the deal. And the average person can't drop a transmission in a car. It's kind of pricey. But as of right now, that's pretty much all I got for you for this video. Again, I just kind of wanted to bring this up, but if you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, please leave a comment below, and I greatly appreciate you guys for watching. Thank you guys again.